Hey everyone, welcome back to Blue Ridge Silverhound. I'm your host Sean for this video. So I was posed a really interesting question about a week ago, and I thought I would take the time to do a video and elaborate on something very specific. Okay, and the credit goes to Lisa N. Thank you for bringing up this topic. It should be pretty interesting, informative, and maybe a little bit sobering. So in this one, we're going to talk about 5 U.S. coin varieties and errors you should consider selling now before they become completely worthless. Okay, so I'm going to get into exactly what I mean, word by word here. So U.S. coin varieties and errors is something that I enjoy talking about, especially within the last year. All right, you guys know my Pocket Change Market Report. It's a great video if you're the type of person that likes to treasure hunt, whether it's through coin roll hunting or you have some pocket change that you're just really wondering what is out there, what can I make money off of. As you guys have seen in my market report, there are a number of different coins that sell for a lot more than face value. Okay, there are pennies that sell for $5 on the low end. There are coins, nickels that sell for $20, quarters that sell for $100, and you just get the big picture. Now, I've had the pleasure of covering a lot of these coins for probably the better part of the last 10 years. However, I've noticed a trend. Okay, there are a few specific varieties and errors that have been going down in value over the course of the last decade. And a lot of it revolves around media hype, like YouTube. Okay, I have proteges, other coin-related YouTubers that have talked about a lot of these quite extensively. Sometimes they'll talk about the same topic 5, 6, 7 times in a row to get their point across, and that's totally fine. I mean, we're putting it out there. Look out for these. Yes. And based off of what I've seen on eBay and other secondary market sources, I would say Facebook, Instagram are 2 other avenues where I've seen these coins for sale, is that the prices have been dropping quite a bit. Supply has been rising. And I've always said and preached that there are certain varieties and errors that are just way too common. It's going to take an event like more YouTubers talking about these varieties to really bring the awareness and just see how common some of these are. So these are coins, again, you should consider selling, because right now a few of these still have a relevant market. You could go on eBay, sell probably a couple of these easily for $20, $30 a pop. That's all fine and good. There is still a little bit of a market, but nothing compared to what it was even a year ago, 5 years ago, before they become worthless. All right? When it's worthless, that's it. Game over. It's just that the YouTube awareness has really brought to light how common some of these are. Okay, and then that's where you have this delicate balancing where supply just shoots straight up into the air. Everybody's trying to have their piece of pie, and there's less people buying them because, someone will buy one example of something, and generally that will be it. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and jump into the top 5 coins here, starting with the missing initial coins. So how does missing initials work? Okay, we'll take this Lincoln Memorial set as an example. There are supposed to be initials of F and G right here for Frank Gasparo on the reverse of this coin at the base of the Lincoln Memorial. All right, so the Cherry Picker's Guide has anointed the 1969D as being a coin that exhibits a missing initial type of variety. Now keep in mind, there can't be any remnants or anything like that. There are some examples where you have a small piece of initial, of a letter, that still shows up. It might be a slight hump on the coin that's in relief. But you got to make sure that the coin has virtually no remnants of either of those F and G initials. So The big thing with this particular missing initial variant is that 1969D is not the only date in which you could find these. All right, it's been documented that these coins do exist all the way up into the 80s, and it really is a byproduct of a clogged die. All right, so the U.S. Mint uses copious amounts of grease. Okay, they're really not shy about using that lubricant to ensure that the minting equipment, all right, is running like a, well, quote unquote, oiled machine. All right, so when the dies become clogged with oil and debris, they're not going to show up as an actual feature on the coin. It could be something as minor as one of the letters. It could be weakness in the actual main details of the coin. Abraham Lincoln could be missing a nose. You just never know what you're going to find out there. But it is very common. Okay, and these generally have been seen from the 1960s all the way up into the 80s. But based off of sales figures and what's on eBay currently, coins that haven't sold, there are a ton of these out there. Now, this is a coin that I would say, if you're able to find one in really nice condition, we're talking about mint state, something that looks like it was minted yesterday, those coins still sell for between $10 and $20. The 69S or the 69D Cherry Picker's Guide Missing Initials Variety is the one, because it is in the Cherry Picker's Guide, is a coin that sells sometimes for upward of $100. But based off of what I've seen and the market trends, these are quite common. All right, so sell them if you have multiples of them. And I'm going to say the same for every coin on the list. There is nothing wrong with having at least one example of each one of these errors and varieties. It's where you have a ton of them that maybe you ought to look at selling them, whether or not you get $1 for them a piece, or $5, or whatever that magic number is for you. Right now is the time to sell while there is a little bit of value. Okay, these are coins that were worth many times more 10 years ago. All right, another popular missing initial coin is going to be the 1972D and the 1982 Philadelphia Candy half dollar. Now, for you coin roll hunters out there that like going through half dollars, you guys have been doing a great job. You've heeded my advice. You're looking for coins like this. This is a 1982 Philadelphia. If you look on the reverse, right there at the little truncation of the bird wing and the feathers, there is supposed to be initials right there. This one does not have it, for the same reason why that the Lincoln Memorial Cent doesn't have it either. It's a clogged die issue. So this is a coin, again, that I've seen just come up to auction in droves. At any one given week, I've seen probably a dozen or more of these new listings in coins of various grades. And they're beginning to drop down to a price point where they're almost not even worth selling. We're talking like $2, $3, $4, $5 on some occasions. I would say some of the most higher graded specimens, like Mint State 65s and 66s, are still worth searching for and subsequently sending them off to grade. All right, but these lower graded specimens, there's just a ton of them out there. They're not worth nearly as much as they used to be. This is a coin that I was able to sell for like 25 to 50 bucks back as recently as 2012, 2013. So these have definitely dropped down quite a bit. There is a little bit of value still associated with the missing initial coins that you could still monetize a little bit off of it. It's not going to make you rich, but these things are going to go down till it's about face value because they are just that common. All right, so the next one that we have here, and I'm afraid to say this because these have a niche kind of popularity to them, and it's going to be the floating roof Lincoln penny. All right, and this is the memorial backed version. So as you can see right here where I have these red arrows, usually there would be two lines to attach that top flat part of the roof to the rest of the memorial. Now, a little overzealous polishing will eliminate those lines, which will give the appearance of the roof actually floating over the entire building. It's a really neat look to it. Now, these as of recently, these have been posted on eBay quite frequently, and they have continued to plummet in value. These are coins that you could obtain in really nice condition, like Mint State Red, for under $1. Now these, because of what they are, used to be a $20, $30, $40 coin as recently as 10 years ago. So these have dropped off quite a bit. I mean, we've already seen a crash of these floating roof coins. But again, the coin, a lot of people own the examples that they want, and there's just not a lot or enough buyers for all the rest of them. Now, as you can see on this image, again, we have some over polishing, maybe a clogged die issue. You can see the weakness even in the initials. It's an entire coin issue. It's not just the floating roof. So make sure if you still have these and you have plenty of them, go ahead and try and liquidate them while you can. All right, so here's another sore point to a lot of people. Okay, this particular coin has a lot of popularity surrounding it. Okay, it's going to be the Delaware State Quarter, the 1999 Philadelphia, not the Denver, Spitting Horse Die Crack. Now, there's been a lot of emphasis on this coin within the last 5 years. Okay, we've seen a lot of YouTubers discuss in depth and detail this particular coin. People love the appeal of a spitting horse, and that's why we have this. There's even been a Spitting Eagle variant, which is a die clash on the Washington Quarters. Okay, we could kind of loop these together as a group, but I don't have images of those ones. But the Spitting Horse, if you were to look on eBay at any given time, there are a ton of listings of the Spitting Horse Delaware State Quarter. These coins still, believe it or not, still sell for between $5 and $10. But how long is that going to last? Okay, with more people looking for the Spitting Horse, whether it's neat or not, again, you got to consider what's the supply and demand ratio looking like. There's a ton of these coins still for sale in that $5 to $10 range. It's just, there's just a lot of them out there. So if you got them, try and sell them while they still have a little bit of value. All right, so I debated on whether or not this one should be 1 or 2 on the list. But this one right here, ooh, this is a good one right here. Missing edge lettering dollar coins. So as of 2007, when the presidential dollar series came as a normal program within the U.S. Mint circulation series, these coins had edge lettering, which had the date, which had the motto, and some neat stars and stuff like that on it. I mean, it looks really cool. It kind of harkens back, to a time in the early 1800s when coins had really nice lettering on the edge, okay, with the date and all this other great stuff. But it all started with the George Washington, which is the first coin in the entire run of presidential dollar coins. And ironically, the George Washington is also the one coin that exhibits most examples with the missing edge lettering, or what we like to call MELs for short. And this one right here, I'm really scared about. Not because of the George Washington. The prices on George Washingtons have plummeted, graded, like this is a Mint State 63, to around $10 to $25. Okay, these used to be solid $100, $150 coins the first couple years of issue of this particular coin. Now, missing edge lettering will exhibit no lettering at all on the edge. All right, there is also a weak edge lettering, which doesn't sell for nearly as much money, but would still command about double face, maybe $3 at the most, for all grade types. Now this one right here, the reason why it scares me a lot is that there are a couple presidents where a missing edge lettering type is extremely valuable. Here are 2 such examples. We have the Ronald Reagan, and then we have the Dwight Eisenhower. Okay, so these 2 coins, one of 16, one of 2015, these sold within the last year for, guess what, a combined amount of almost $7,000. And the reason why this worries me is that not too many people have taken an affinity to the presidential dollar series. It's only going to be a matter of time where more people are actually going to check out these coins. It's going to take a huge kind of like event, like the U.S. Mint actually melting down all the coins because of waning interest before these retain the big, huge values that they do. All right, and I just don't see that happening. All right, the mintages on these are set. Many millions of them were produced. You know, when you get into the latter years, they did do the not intended for circulation issues where you could only buy them from the mint directly, and they had them in bags. But again, it's only going to take a few people to find more examples of like the Ronald Reagan or the Eisenhower or the Grover Cleveland to really put a hit on the value of these coins. Now, is there going to be 100 Ronald Reagan missing edge letterings that are going to be discovered? I don't think so. I don't know how many of them exist in the short mintage run. But again, nobody's looking for these. These are sitting in bank vaults as we speak, and nobody's asking for them. They're not half dollars. There's no silver to be found in these. So there's really not a whole lot of buy-in other than the edge varieties. Okay, and to some people, it's just not interesting enough. So this one, if you have these coins, try and liquidate them as soon as you can. Keep an example or two. The more rarer types, like these two right here, I would say, you know, unless it's part of a registry set and you know it's like a Pop 1 or a Pop 2, you could probably hold on to it, but keep an eye out on those numbers. If PCGS or NGC grades any more of these, that could be a huge serious red flag. And at that time, you might want to consider moving on from your missing edge lettering dollars. And then finally, the one coin that has kind of like roller coastered all the way around with various types of popularity and then these deep dips where nobody's interested in the coins is going to be die deterioration doubling and machine doubled coins. All right, I put both of them in kind of the same boat. Now, it all kind of started in 1955. Okay, the coin that you see here has been known as the poor man's doubled die. Of course, they got the big doubled die that's worth thousands of dollars, but this one has been embraced in the error or variety community for decades. Now, this is a coin that at one point was selling for a lot of money. All right, there is even ads in newspapers, 40, 50 years ago, asking for people to send in their 55 poor man's double dies in exchange for like $3 a piece or $2 a piece or whatever the promo was in the newspaper ad. All right, so there's been a lot of talk and popularity surrounding this particular date. Now, over the years, these coins have kind of slipped in value. All right, these are coins that you could find and buy for about $1 to $3. All right, so the coin that you see here before you, I believe, sold for like $2.79 or something like that. But keep in mind, 10 years ago, all right, at the height of the recession, people were spending $20 to $30 for every example of the poor man's 55. All right, to make matters worse, okay, the one coin synonymous with rare doubled die is the 1969S. Now, the coin that you see here comes in at a very distant second place in terms of desirability. This is a machine doubled coin which exhibits all of the flat shelf-like doubling that you would expect from a coin that is visually stunning. All right, it's close to that 69 doubled die that everybody looks for. That's worth like $20,000, $30,000. But this one right here, there has been a coin that sold a few months ago by a seller by the name of Tropical Bats that sold this particular coin in excess of $1,000. Now, the same seller has continuously put this same listing of the 69S up because it is a common machine doubled type variety or error. And as of today, the last example sold for about $69, right? A 69, that sold for $69. So the prices have dropped quite a bit. Now, this is a really dramatic version of this coin right here. I mean, you could find some that are much weaker in the machine doubling department, and those would command about a few bucks. But if you guys owned any of the more dramatic looking machine doubled coins, I tell you what, they are pretty common out there. If you got them and they're still somewhat of a market, I would sell it right now if you could. 5, 10 years, these may become irrelevant because the people that want a copy of this coin will probably already own it. And especially the higher graded examples, they're just going to be more of them out there as people watch more of these videos and they gain to learn what's out there that they could make a quick buck off of. Now, this is still easy money, but how will it be in like 2 years or maybe 5 years? It's really hard to say. All I know is the prices on these are beginning to slip and they are dropping rapidly. So if you got them and you got extras, go ahead and try and sell them. Okay, make the most of what you can off this one coin. And the same goes for every other machine double to date. Not necessarily the 69S, but this is a big target coin because of its ties with the DDO FS101 double die that is worth a lot of money. So that's going to do it. Those are the top 5 coins I would consider selling now if you got extras. I'm your host, Sean, with BlueRidgeSilverhound. Thank you guys for watching again. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Sorry to keep it all drawn out and rambling on. But it's important, like, details that you need to know about. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe this video. Hit that bell for instant notifications so that way you get first-hand access to all of the newest uploads. Again, Coinaholics, we are discovery together. It was a pleasure. You guys take care, enjoy the hobby, and I'll see you on the next coin video.